So you want to know how to prepare your yerba mate. Well, you're in the right place. In this video, I'm going to show you how to properly prepare your yerba mate using Argentinian yerba. And along the way, I'm going to explain why we do what we do and the purpose behind each step. So let's go ahead and get started. Well, first I need my kit. So I've got my gourd. I'm using a wooden gourd today. You could use any type of gourd, whether it's calabash, wood, glass, heck, even a coffee cup if you want to. I've got my bombilla. I'm going with a spoon bombilla today. It's my favorite. My yerba. This is CBSE. It's an Argentinian style yerba, and this is the orange flavor. I've got my thermos with my water at about 70 degrees Celsius. And of course, my dummy water. So, what we want to do first is we want to put about 1/2 to 2/3 of our gourd full with yerba. Now, why do we want 1/2 or 2/3? Well, if you're a newbie or just starting out, and maybe you're not quite accustomed to the taste of the yerba, you can do a little bit less. If you're a veteran and you love the potency of the yerba that you have, you can do a little bit more. So take the yerba and we're just going to pour it directly into the gourd or the cup. Okay. Once it's in there, we can set that aside. All right, I've got it up about here to mine to the top of the metal piece. So it's about between 1/2 and 2/3 in here. All right, so we've got it in there. Now the next step, this is an important step for a couple of reasons. We want to cover the top of the gourd, and we're going to give it a few shakes. Yeah, you can go upside down if you want to. This is going to remove the dust, the palvo, and by getting rid of the dust, it will make it a little less bitter. Plus, you won't get all of the fine particles in your mouth. So you can shake it sideways to pack it. You can do it upside down to get rid of more dust if you want to. But once we've shaken it, we want to make sure that we bring it back to a 45-degree angle. Okay, we do not want to stand it up. We want to keep it on its side a little bit. So as we remove our hand, if I just yank it back, some yerba is going to fall out. If I slide my hand up, it will keep the yerba inside the gourd. All right, so you can see there's a mound, right? Should be about halfway in there. Now that's going to be important as well. The mound is crucial. The mound we want to keep that way so we always have fresh yerba until it's washed, lavado, until we're finished with it. So the mound is going to keep cycling fresh yerba into our drink. All right, I'll use this. So the next step, oops, I usually keep it on my bombilla to keep it tilted. Now, it might slide down a little bit, that's okay, but I've still got my mound. Next, I want to take my dummy water and I'm going to pour it in the open side. Okay, I'm going to pour it in the open side where there is no yerba. And when I pour it, I don't want it to go all the way to the top because it will spill out. So I want to get up, again, about 2/3 of the yerba covered with the dummy water. Now, dummy water is just room temperature water. And the reason we're putting this dummy water in, the first reason is we want to protect the yerba. We want to protect the tea. Sometimes the temperature of the water, if it's a little bit hotter than 70, if it's closer to 80 degrees or so, that can burn the yerba and give it a different taste. So the dummy water helps kind of protect the yerba. And the other reason, let me go ahead and pour this in the backside. There we go. Now you want to let the water sit for about 30 seconds to a minute, or a bit longer depending on the yerba and the size of your gourd. So while that's getting settled in there, the second reason we want to use dummy water is it's going to pack our mound down, and it's going to make it a bit more solid and compact. That way, when we insert our bombilla and we start to drink it, it's not going to collapse on itself and we lose all of our fresh yerba that way, right? So it kind of presses it in, it compacts it a little bit. Make sure that we keep a mound in there throughout the whole cycle of our drink. Okay. So mine's pretty close. I got a small gourd today. It's an individual gourd I'm using. So what I'm going to do next, now I can slowly start to stand it up. And I'm going to insert my bombilla. So I cover the top to make sure that it's suctioned in there. And I'm going to put it in the open end. So my mound is on this side, close to you all. And the open end, I'm going to slide it in slowly and then tuck it under the yerba. Like so. Now, once it's inserted, it should just stand there all by itself, right? So we've compacted the yerba in there. We've got our bombilla situated. Now we're ready. The last step is to put in our warm water. So the warm water we're going to pour again in the open side. And the same with the dummy water. We do not want to fill it all the way up. That'll just wash out your yerba and you won't have any fresh yerba to cycle through as you drink. So I put my, my water in here. I leave the top. Bring it over to you. I don't fill it all the way up. You can still see my mound on the side. Salud. So now if I were to sit in a mate circle and I'd be sharing it with my friends, then there's still plenty of fresh yerba. When I go to refill it, I know the next person's getting a fresh drink. Okay. So that's how we prepare it. It's a few simple steps. You can prepare the mate pretty quick, maybe 30 seconds, 1 minute once you get used to it. But you also now know why we do what we do. Welcome to the circle.